evening, everyone. This is the March 4th, 2020 meeting of the Bond Oversight Committee. I'll now call this meeting to order. It is 6:04 PM. I'm Minnie Dora Bunn-Haynes, the chairman, and I am obviously present.
Erasmo Villarreal, present.
Orlando Navarro, present.
Joe Lopez present.
And we have council present.
Jaime Garcia, Jacobson Associates Counsel for the committee.
First order of business, public comments. Ms. Gatan, did anybody sign up for public comments?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Next action items. Mrs. Benavides?
This evening, we have two items for you. They both have to do with HVAC systems, and we have Ms. Cordy Flores Jackson and Mr. Menchaca from our Energy Management Department to go over those items.
We have a very brief presentation by DVR.
Good evening. We're recommending approval of JOC 2020-002, which is the 8800 McPherson SLC classroom HVAC system replacement to Leindecker Construction in the amount of $176,450. And that includes a $20,000 contingency for district use only. We're recommending to use bond interest proceeds for this project, and then Ms. Chang will go over the scope of the project. Just the following
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You flipped it backwards.
I miss Mr. Zoom.
I know, me too. Okay, I think this is good, right?
Yeah.
So this is the 8800 McPherson Road SLC Classrooms HVAC system replacement. And the project scope included providing independent HVAC systems for two of the SLC classrooms. They used to be science labs, and they're converting for the purpose of SLC classrooms. And so we had to disconnect it from their existing systems, which meant taking out the science exhaust that they had there and the shared ductwork with the other science classrooms, and then providing two new rooftop units that are mounted at grade, and then tying those two new units to the existing controls to have them compliance with the mechanical code and meeting the energy efficiency required by the International Mechanical Code as well.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
What is SLC stand for?
It's an actual educational term. It's a special ed unit. This is mostly our autistic students. Probably the number of kids doesn't get larger than 15. We try to keep them, small. But what I understand about these two units, and I think Mr. Enrique can reiterate, is that where these classrooms are located, there were science labs, the old United High School. And so there were some exhaust, connections that needed to kind of get taken care of. And the way we understand with this type of population, you have to keep the AC or the temperature at a certain level. If not, these students might get agitated. And so administration recommended, let's just have some separate units for these two units.
And the surrounding classrooms that were also on the same system are still going to be science labs. So it was more critical to have them separated.
What's the directive, excuse me, Mr. Chair, just, we're using the interest from our bond money. What's the directive from the board as far as the interest is concerned and the process for spending that money?
I think, a lot stems from the committee here, approving the project, and being that it's kind of a project related to other projects that we did in the bond. I think with the way the whole bond proposition was sold and also approved, we had the latitude to do these types of renovations, so to speak. And since we already had renovations in our bond program that had to do with HVAC systems, it goes in line with, it's nothing out of the ordinary, I guess, from the typical bond program bond project we've been doing. So they really turn to you all that if you feel it's a good project to use our bond proceeds. You'll find later in our finance report that we have so much still unallocated. So, again, I think we just did not see the amount of work that was gonna be needed at 8800 McPherson, which is the old United High School, to get it ready to be a middle school. I think, we were, I guess, surprised, but we want to make it a good middle school to last, another 25, 30 years for those students.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So we have here shown the base bid budget and then the contingency allowance, 20,000. And so total, 220,000. And so we had one bid come in, and that was at 156,450. That was from Line Decker Construction. So together with the contingency, it was $176,450. And here's the proposed schedule we have. It goes for board approval on 25th of March, and the project start date is the 22nd of April. Substantial completion, 30th of June this year, and then final completion, 30th of July this year. So it's a pretty quick schedule as well.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Madam Chair, hearing there's no questions, I'd like to make a motion that we approve JOC 2020-002, which is to award the HVAC system replacement at 8800 McPherson Road in SLC classrooms for the amount of $176,450
To Line Decker.
to Line Decker Construction.
Yes. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Second action item. Ms. Flores?
Yes, the second item is JOC 2020-003, and this is the former Salinas Elementary School. It is the HVAC relocation done by Line Decker Construction, and the amount for that project is $165,175, which also includes a $20,000 contingency. This would be from the bond proceeds for the demolition of Salinas Elementary, the old Salinas Elementary. Yes.
So this is the former Salinas Elementary School HVAC rooftop units relocation, and they would be going to the campus on 900 East Del Mar. So the project consisted of removing 5 of the existing DX rooftop units from the former Salinas School and moving them to 900 East Del Mar, and replacing 5 of those with those. They're each 15-ton DX rooftop units, and then tying those to the energy management that they have. And I guess with that, the existing controls system at the 900 East Del Mar campus is a little out of date, so we had to provide some additional controller to be able to have them communicate and work in compliance with the mechanical code. And so those package units that were relocated also comply with the energy code. And the reason why the district felt like they should be reused to keep their life purpose is because they're only about a year old.
That was
Yeah.
gonna
Makes
ask.
sense.
So given that their lifespan is typically 15 to 20 years for such a pricey unit, it's well worth the money to relocate them and reuse them.
Will whatever warranty they may have had continue when it's moved from location?
It goes with the unit.
If it goes to the unit?
Excuse me, yes. We went ahead and actually contacted a train on this. Actually, we contacted Train via Sunbelt, which is actually the one that actually did the installation. And in this case, when we purchased these units, we went ahead and purchased a 5-year materials and labor. And the Train has confirmed, actually today, they went ahead and confirmed that it will go ahead and transfer to the new site until the full 5 years is completed. So this would be actually, they would be under complete warranty for the remainder of their life.
Thank you. Is there anything else?
Oh, I was just gonna go to the next, the budget. So the base budget was $165,000, the contingency $20,000, to a total of $185,000. And so the one proposal that came in was $145,175, bringing the total to $165,175. So this one follows the same schedule as the previous JOC. It would go for board approval 25th of March this year. The start date would be 22nd of April this year, and the substantial completion 30th of June this year, and final completion 30th of July this year.
Then Sunbelt is gonna do it through Line Decker?
Yes, that's that.
Anyone
Just-
have any questions?
The 900 East Delmar Boulevard is one of our oldest campuses. It's located, it's the Trotman Middle School, 6th grade right now.
Mhm.
That's going to be United Six.
Yes, so we converted to United Middle School, 6th grade next year. So I think it was the rooftop that lent itself to the units, right? That's what I heard.
Does anybody have any more questions? If not, then I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve. And I moved the tab, so let me read that out. We were on 002?
Sure, sure, sure.
Sorry, let me go back to that. Motion to approve as presented by staff, JOC 2020-003, former Salinas Elementary School HVAC RTU relocation project. And that is for a total base bid amount of $176,450.
Correction of that, it's 165.
175.
Okay, I was reading this recommendation here on this sheet here.
The other one.
Okay, my mistake. It reads 176, but I guess I'm looking at the wrong page.
Yeah,
That
you might have been
was
reading
the
the
previous-
JOC
the pre-
2020,
the previous one.
002.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that.
The 165, 175.
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Informational items? Mr. Landis?
Good evening, Madam Chair, committee members, and members of the audience. Ignacio Lanis, presenting on the 2013 bond program construction project summary report as of March 4th, 2020. We have two projects to present tonight. The first one is the elementary school number 31 at Coves.
I have control of it.
Oh, okay.
You just tell me now. There. You want to start?
Yes. Okay, this project is, construction progress to date is 79% complete, and with a contractual completion date of August 2021. Looking at the project report, the summary by area, and again, I have the key floor plan or building plan at the bottom of the page, broken up into 4 zones. So you can see that in general, conditions or requirements, we have CMU wall painting throughout. The door hardware and frame glazing installation is ongoing. Further down in classrooms and hallways, installation is completed. And exterior site work, we have continued earth moving, all surrounding areas in progress, and drive access and parking work is in progress as well. Area A, which is some of the classroom areas, the main entrance stair work is in progress, as well as further down installation is completed, tape load and painting is ongoing. In area B, we have drive access and parking work in progress, which is also part of the classroom and library section. And area C, which is leading towards the cafeteria, all the kitchen equipment installation is ongoing, near completion. In area D, which is more classrooms and the gymnasium area, the stage work at the gym is ongoing, and the sidewalk work around the building is in progress. Now in the central area of the courtyard, we have the paving or pavers project or part has been completed, and the seating work or the seating little outdoor classroom area is ongoing. These are just some views of interior and exterior sections of the project that it's ongoing.
So with a completion date of August of 2021, but you're at 79%, do you think this is gonna be finished way ahead of schedule?
Yes.
Seems like.
Way ahead. Yes, that will give us time really to get the landscaping going and check all systems and make sure that everything is working well.
When is the school scheduled to open?
This one is scheduled to open.
August next year.
August of 2021.
Yes, August of 2021.
It's gonna sit for about a year?
No, actually, we'll probably finish the school November, December, this year. And then, like Mr. Alanis mentioned, it'll get us 4 to 5 months to move in all the furniture, equipment, do the commissioning, test it. So we should have it really ready for occupancy like April of next year. But
Yeah.
2 or 3 months before, like, I have a schedule, but
And that leaves, that gives administration time to work with the parents that will be, well, the students that will be affected and work with their parents. There'll be boundary change meetings, the boundary changes have to go to the board, so there's a lot of
There's a lot.
background things that have to happen.
Fall of 2021.
Fall of 2021, so it'll probably relieve like Colonel Santos Benavides, that's at Winfield, and San Isidro, that we see a lot of growth in that area as well. So it's gonna bring relief to the northwest part of our district, so we should be set for some time after this opening.
already at this point, like the closing and going through all the requirements of the city of Laredo, the fire department, utilities, it's about a 3 or 4 month process alone to turn over the building. It used to be that. When you were there, it was 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3
Yeah,
months.
it's gonna.
Yeah, it's become a problem, big time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, going on to the next project is the middle school number 12 over at Cuatro Vientos. It's the second middle school of the 3 middle schools we have programmed. This project right now is at 6% completion, and the contractual completion date is January of 2022. Reading the summary, the site work, overall the site is being maintained in proper condition, reinforcing bar is being delivered and stored on site. As you'll see in some of the photos, the new storm drainage line in placement and connected to Vientos Street. Testing agency or lab has been on site doing field density tests and taking samples for quality control and assurance. In area A, which is classroom areas, we have formwork, electrical and plumbing lines been placed and rebar set and reviewed by the structural engineer. A portion of this zone has already been poured So they're prepping for the second half. And in area D, a reinforcing steel is being tied and in progress. Here are some of the site photos. The storm drainage,
Yeah, and then here's the bar.
right. Just showing some of the formwork and reinforcement for that slab prep, zone A. A lot of the other ground, electrical and plumbing lines. Storm drainage, infrastructure, utility lines. Some rebar that's being prepped and formed for, ready for placement. And that pretty much covers the two projects
Project's
that we
going
have.
along really well. If you look at that area, you go by the loop, you'll see a lot of construction.
Is there anything that the outside, the scope of this project that the developer has to do to comply with this project, or there's nothing pending for them?
Nothing pending, sir. It was really all completed before we even started on the project. Yeah, all the development, infrastructure, roads, it's in place.
That's it? Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alanis. Next, we have the bond program financial report.
Well, I guess I can.
You didn't tell me you were gonna be sitting over there today.
That's okay, that's okay. So,
Sam.
this is our, we try to cut off our financials every 25th of the month, and so you'll see that here we have our financials as of February 25th. Some main items that got either cleared up or added since our last report. We had, we closed a big PO of about $61,000 for the Alexander High School. It was a PO with Killen Development, so we cleared up that money. At the LBJ High School, LBJ High School ninth grade campus, we went ahead and had some in-house expenses that we needed to take care of for $14,000. For Perales Middle, in going over our books, we had not charged the furniture and equipment the way we should have to that project. And so we went ahead and moved those funds on over. But that should pretty much be it for Perales Middle. Here you'll see Cuatro Vientos South Middle School, the one that Mr. Alanis just talked about. We have encumbered, of course, in the future, you'll see expenses for furniture and equipment as we're going. We also had in Salinas Elementary replacement, just like you saw that item for tonight, that'll hit our books next time. But in the meantime, we've gotten some POs in for Terracon and RSCR. This is all engineering work to, there is a lot that goes into demolishing a building, so to speak, with engineering. So those expenses have been included there, totaling up to $227,000. In our network upgrade, we have added a PO for $334,000. It's again for M1 networks for our older schools. This old school, of course, the 8800 McPherson, we're getting that one going. And then we ordered some more IFPs, so it hit the instructional interactive technology account. We made a PO for $396,000 this past December. They were actually having a sale, so we took advantage of that. And then another big item, just not as big as the millions that are in here, but we had some in-house expenses for alarms. So we're starting to see a lot of these accounts or projects already finalizing. Mr. Rangel and Mr. Gutierrez's staff did a lot of the alarms in-house, so it really had substantial savings in that line item. And then, of course, you'll see the other items, they haven't moved much. Towards the bottom, you'll see our unallocated interest of $1,506,721. With tonight's action, and we get the PO in, then we'll have used about 175,000 of it for that project at 8,800 McPherson. But as we do plan to use more of it, of course, our goal is to make sure our whole bond program comes within what we issued. We're careful on what we're using the interest for, because we still have some projects to go. We have a middle school and the replacement campuses that we move forward on. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on that.
Joan? No questions?
It's gotten very
No, ma'am.
busy.
You're done?
I deal with bond funds all day. I don't want to talk
Yes.
about it anymore.
Yes, I know.
Good, thank you.
Well, just to bring you up to date, we did do some refundings, and that got closed, in fact, today.
Closing now.
We're closing as we're speaking. We probably saved over,
7 million.
yeah, several,
We
yeah,
financed about $95 million worth of bonds.
old debt, yeah. So with the lower interest rates,
Yeah.
What's refunding?
where you refinance your
Oh,
your
refinance,
existing,
yeah.
your,
It's called
yeah, they call them
Oh, they call them
refunding
refunding.
bonds. You have to go through offering statements, you have to get,
You're issuing new bonds to pay off old bonds, but at a
Yes.
lower rate, and you have a savings for the remainder of the life of the old bonds that
Right.
we refunded.
I think this one is probably about an $800,000 a year savings to our
Yeah.
INS,
Yeah, it was a-
Purchase and Sinking Fund.
Yeah.
And then we just got an offer from our FAs, supposedly, I think the market, the interest rates went down again. And so they're re-looking at some of our existing debt to see if we can refinance further. But those will be taken to the board. If we take such action, it'll go in April and probably close in May. So we talked to our FA today and just said, do you think it's gonna stay low? And it was substantial. I can't think of the amount, but
It's gonna be $113 million that we're gonna refund. And I think it's gonna be like $3 to $4 million worth of savings over the life of this refunding. And
so,
probably about a 2% difference in the amount of debt, the interest that we're gonna pay. So it's
so
just,
taking advantage of the lower
it's
interest
the
rates.
Fed with the emergency reduction that they did
Yeah.
3 days ago. So
So we hope to take advantage of that. So we'll be taking that to our board.
we do better when we're sitting down.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
So I think that's it for our items.
Thank you. No questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, open agenda, is there anything the committee would like to bring forth?
Nope.
Then do we need to set a meeting for our next meeting, or will we be notified as needed?
I think that's needed. Yeah.
Then there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 6:31.